Hi YouTube, Timothy Unkert from UnkertEducation.com here. In this video we're going to talk about functions in Python. So I'm going to make a multi-line comment here with 3 single quotes and close it with 3 single quotes. And in between I'm going to put my comment. And I'll say functions are useful so that you don't repeat yourself. Okay, and there's an acronym for this called DRY, which stands for don't repeat yourself. So use a function instead. Some functions in Python are built in, like the length function, len, and the print function, for instance. And then some functions you'll want to define with the keyword def. Okay, so let's create a function. We'll first start by creating a simple function here. And to do that, we'll call it say hi. So we'll use that keyword def, and we'll do say hi. Won't take in any parameters or arguments, and we'll print hi. Okay, and now we want to invoke the function. To do that, we can run it with say hi. And if we run this, we get just hi here. Okay. Now that's not super useful. Maybe we want to create a function with a parameter. Okay, so let's call this one say underscore hello, and we'll take in a parameter name, and we'll print an F string that says hello, and then the name. We put an exclamation point after the name, and let's invoke or call this function, and we'll pass in first hello, or first Tim, and let's invoke the function again, and this time pass in Joe. And now if we run this program, we get hello Tim, hello Joe. Okay, so a little bit more useful. We can also create a function with a default argument, or with a default parameter, rather. Parameter is the word we use when we're talking about the function, when we're defining it. Argument is what we pass into the function when we're invoking it. So I'm going to say, create a function, let's do say goodbye to mix it up. And we'll have a parameter called name, and we'll set the default equal to Tim. And then what we'll do is we'll print an F string just saying goodbye, and then we'll pass in the name variable and do an exclamation point at the end. And now I can call this function. I can do say goodbye and just call it without a parameter, and it's going to say goodbye Tim. But I could also I could call the function and pass in, say, a different parameter like Bill, and it will say goodbye Bill. So if we run this, we get goodbye Tim, goodbye Bill. Okay, so that's default parameters. We can also return something from the function and not just print something. So let's create a function that returns a value. So to do that, we'll use this keyword def, and then we'll do yell hi. And let's pass in the parameter name, and we'll return an F string that says hi. And let's do name.upper. We can use this method on a string to capitalize it. Every letter in the string. And then if we call this, we could do yell hi, and if we do something like Bill, well, it's not going to do anything because we're just returning it, but we're not saving it into anything. So let's save it into a variable called yell, and now let's print out yell. Okay, and if we run this, we get hi Bill. Okay, all in caps. Pretty sweet. We can also manipulate numbers within a function. So let's create a function that squares a number. So I'm going to use def, and let's call it square. We'll take in a number. I'll call that num, and we'll return num times num. Now let's print these out. So let's print the square with 3 passed in, and let's print the square with 4 passed in. So we should get 9 and 16. Let's run it. We get 9 and 16 as expected. Okay, we could also create a function that raises a number to a power. So let's call this raise underscore power, and we'll take in a base and a an exponent, and we'll return the base raised to the exponent. We use 2 asterisks, like so. And now we could print raise power. Let's do 3 and 4. And then let's print raise power. And this time let's do 5 and 3. Okay, so if we run this, well, we get 3 to the 4th power is 81. 5 to the 3rd power is 125. Okay, we can also take in an unknown amount of arguments. So we'll create a function that takes in an unknown amount of arguments. To do that, we're going to use the star arg. So we're going to say, let's call this one multiply nums. And the convention, you put a star and then you could call it whatever you want, but the convention is args. And then we can iterate through the args. So let's first create a product here, product variable, and we'll set it equal to 1. And then let's loop through the args. We'll say for num in args. We'll take the product and multiply it by whatever that number is. And then we'll return the product. Okay, and let's run this a few times. So we'll print multiply nums, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should give us, when we multiply all those numbers together, 120. Let's print multiply nums. Let's not pass in anything. That should just return the product of 1. And then let's print multiply nums, and let's do 3, 4, 5. If I multiply those together, I'll get 60. So we should get 120, 1, and 60. Let's run it. And we get 121 and 60 as expected. We can also create a function that takes in a dictionary. So for doing that, we use quargs. So we'll do def, let's call this return dix, and I'll do star star quargs. You can change quargs to whatever you want. You just have to have the star star. The convention is to use quargs, and we'll say for k comma v in quargs.items, we'll print, let's do an f string where we do k, then colon, and then v. Let's call this function. So we'll do return dix, and we'll call it by passing in a dictionary. So we'll say name equals Timothy Unkert, age equals 46, GPA equals 4.0, and we'll run this, and it iterates through. We get name Timothy Unkert, age 46, GPA 4.0. So that was a little introduction into functions. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you.